welcome back to the second episode of MMI. I am your host, Randall Folks, and in today's episode, we are going to talk a little about International Fight Week and go over some current events. We're going to talk about what happened over the weekend at UFC 226. It was a crazy show. I was there with the wife. It was insane. It was probably the best crowd I've been to. They were into every single fight from top to bottom. It was definitely, for sure, the largest crowd I've ever been to. I've never been to a completely sold out show like that. 209 was closed. 216 wasn't sold out at all. I didn't even think they sold most of the upper level seats. And 222 didn't sell that good because of the switch in the main event. But 226 was packed from like the early prelims, which me and my wife looked at each other a couple times like, wow, we've never seen this many people here this early. And they were there, and a lot of people were there. The whole upper level, I think, was full before the second or third fight of the night, which was amazing. I love to see that type of turnout. We're also going to talk about Fight Night Boise coming up, which is this Sunday, this Saturday. And then we're going to talk about Fight Night Hamburg, which is next Sunday. So, International Fight Week. There's all kinds of meet and greets with all different kind of fighters. It's great. It was interactive through an app this year. So the app, you signed on and then you went to this little kiosk and they signed you all in. And you got an opportunity to get into a line to meet 9 or 10 different fighters from all kinds of people. Sean O'Malley, Chris Cyborg, Demetrius Johnson, all kinds of people were there. The best part of everything from my personal experience was, unfortunately, Brian Ortega wasn't able to fight this weekend, so he did a last-minute meet and greet at the Las Vegas Fight Shop, and me and my wife went there. It was a last-minute thing. We got the notification on my phone, and we went right over. And it was actually pretty sweet. The line wasn't horribly that long. We probably sat there for about 20, 30 minutes, but it was cool. I get all these plaques every time we go to these UFC events. And it has a little slot that holds mine and my wife's tickets in them. And we get the plaques every single time. And the plaques happened to be there that time for this UFC 226. And Brian Ortega is obviously on the poster because he was expected to be the co-main event. And so I grabbed it on the way in and I opened it up and I handed it to him and he signed it and it was great. So that's obviously something that's obviously going to stand out for me for a while. It's great. The things that I really like about UFC fighters is they're very interactive with their fans. Like if you hit them up on Instagram or Facebook, they're most likely write you back. Like I've talked shit to, like Colby Covington, and it's funny. Like, they hit you up. They're very interactive with their fans. They like to interact with people. I think it's cool of them. They definitely don't shy away from their fans, which is great. They're definitely not taking the back doors anywhere. They're definitely willing to stop and take pictures and sign whatever you have for them. Some fighters sign multiple things. It's great. Also, over this weekend, there was a tough finales, and I'm not going to go over the whole card, but I am going to go over the main event. And Israel Adesanya won by a decision. He beat Brad Tavares, and he beat him convincingly. And I want to talk a little bit about Adesanya. He is a legit threat in the middleweight division. I know a lot of people are going to talk about Paulo Costa, who we'll go over later. But I think he's ranked now 8th in the division, I believe. And he is a contender. I think the next fight for him, Israel Adesanya is 9. Paulo Costa is 8. So Adesanya is 9. And I really think the next fight for him would be a Weidman. I think I want to see if somebody like a Weidman can take him down. He obviously was very good at getting out of the way with Tavares, and he didn't let Tavares take him down or hold him down or anything like that. And that was going to be the big question mark, is if Israel Adesanya can get back up from somebody like Brad Tavares, who can pressure you like that and he can get you down and hold you down and pound you out like that. But it didn't work out for him. And Israel Adesanya used the fence a lot. He stayed his back against the fence, and then he'd move out of the way really quick. And then he hit him with 2-3 shots, and then he just kept moving. And every time Brad Tavares went in, Israel Asadi was somewhere else by the time he was coming in. So I think that was, I want to see him go against a world-class wrestler in that division. And I think Chris Weidman is looking for a fight right now, and I think that's something that should be made up soon. Yeah, look into it, Sean Shelby. Goddammit, I'm not trying to do your job all day. Just kidding. But we're going to go over some current events. So Robert Whittaker and Calvin Gastelum were announced to be the Ultimate Fighter 28 coaches. It's speculated that this is going to be the final season of the Ultimate Fighter because the move to ESPN, they think that the Contender Series is a better outlet for new and up-and-coming fighters to become popular, I guess. So they're going to do away with Tough. So this is going to be the complete final season. I really actually I enjoy this season because it's going to be heavyweights and then women's featherweights. And that is the biggest thing I think for me is the women's featherweights division is going to grow a little bit. And you're actually going to see some kind of rankings possibly or some kind of actual challenger for Chris Cyborg that is around her size. And we're not talking about bantamweights trying to move up and fight her, or a Megan Anderson who's maybe not quite ready but is going to be there one day. She's still young. But I like the fact that they're going to do that in the Robert Whittaker and Calvin Gastelum as the coaches. Wow, that's great. I mean, they've both won Tough. Robert Whittaker won Tough, the Smashes, and then Gastelum won Tough 17. This is the second time that two Tough Enough winners are actually going to be coaching against each other. The first time was Tough Latin American 2, with Efron Escondero took on Calvin Gastelum. So Calvin Gastelum's obviously being involved in both of them. The two will eventually meet in a middleweight title bout. Obviously, the Tough finale is Friday, November 30th, so probably the December card that you can expect somewhere around there, depending on how everything works out with Robert Whittaker's hand. I know it was banged up in that last fight with Yoel Romero. That should be interesting, and I really think that's something that we should all be looking forward to because I think Calvin Gastelum is a legit threat to Robert Whittaker and that 185 title. Also, Winston Duke, he was in Black Panther and Infinity War. He got casted to play Kimbo Slice in Backyard Legend. If you don't know who Kimbo Slice is, you haven't been on YouTube watching fights in the past 30 years. Maybe not 30, but you get my point. Kimbo Slice really made backyard fighting on YouTube what it is. I mean, he is backyard fighting, and he's the legend that started it all. Yeah, he was a YouTube sensation. His professional MMA record was 8-2-1. He unfortunately, Kimbo Slice, passed away June 6, 2016 at the age of 42. But I'm really looking forward to that movie. I think it's going to be something that everyone should go see if you're an MMA fan. And I think it might bring some people a little closer to the man who is Kimbo Slice. Also, Oscar De La Hoya has signed Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz to Golden Boy's promotion, which means we are going to see Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz 3. It's going to be live on pay-per-view. We can possibly see Golden Boy MMA. Maybe this is the move that Oscar De La Hoya is trying to make next. We know that Zuffa went into boxing and Oscar wasn't happy about that. And maybe this is his kind of like, here you go. We're going to give it right back to you, Dana. Thanks for coming into boxing because we're going to do Golden Boy MMA. And it might be another outlet for fighters to look into. It's always good to have other outlets for fighters. Money's not bad to be passed around. So I really think that fighters should be getting paid a little more. And if there's other promotions willing to give them that money, then the UFC and Bellator and other promotions like this have no other choice than to pay more money than they would already be paying. So yeah, but that's crazy. We're going to see Chuck and Tito 3. They're like 105 years old now together, combined. I really think this matchup favors Tito, especially the older those two get. I really, really, really think it favors Tito. I don't think the older they get that Chuck stands a chance. I think if this fight would have taken place, I don't know, whatever it was, 7 years ago when they were Tough Enough coaches, I think I would have gave it to Chuck then. But right now, I would have to say Tito is going to go ahead and take Chuck out on this one. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see and be tuning in. Also, former All-Pro NFL linebacker Greg Hardy gets his second fight in the UFC August 7th on Dana White's Contender Series against Tabaris Gordon, and Tabaris Gordon is 3-0. Say what you will about his past. It's not for me to sit here and discuss what he did and right and wrong. Obviously, it was completely wrong, and I don't think you should judge somebody on their fall downs. You should judge them on their comebacks, and he's trying to do something to make a comeback. But on top of that, we're going to go talk about UFC 226 over the weekend, and we were there. It was great. I can't believe it. It was electric. It was crazy. We went to the weigh-ins also, and the weigh-ins were awesome too. We did it at T-Mobile Arena this time, and I've never been to a weigh-in at T-Mobile Arena. I know it's a usual on the bigger cards, but this is the first bigger card me and my wife have been to, and it was awesome. The entire upper level was covered with people, which I thought was crazy. We got there right in time, so we got to be able to sit close, and we saw all kinds of fighters there. It was pretty sweet. But UFC 226 started off. Emily Whitmire defeated Jamie Moyle by decision. It was a good back-and-forth fight. Emily got the nod on that one. Dan Hooker knocked out Gilbert Burns in the first round. It was a great fight. Great fight. That's Hooker's second knockout in a row. He hit him with a knee, and it was out. It was great. It was a great knockout by Dan Hooker, and I think if there wasn't so many more spectacular knockouts on this card, that he definitely would have got performance bonus, but I think he's definitely one of those guys that you could make an argument saying that he got snubbed for a performance bonus, but it was definitely a great fight. Curtis Millender defeated Max Griffin in a back-and-forth decision. Dakar Close defeated Lando Venata via decision. It was definitely one of the better fights of the night, in my opinion. Definitely, it probably wasn't the best. That was going to be Felder Perry. Felder Perry was definitely the best fight of the night, in my opinion. But Dakar Close and Lando Venata was a very good fight. Huffler Sunzao defeated Rob Font. That was very, very slow. Sunzao, does his thing. He took out Rob Font convincingly. But it wasn't a finish. It was just the same thing that Sunzao does. 1-2 punch, take you down, drag you down. It was a boring fight, but Sunzao gets a nod like he normally does. Sunzao wants a title shot next. I really, like I talked about last time, I think he should fight Marlon Moraes. I really feel like that was a close split decision, and we should see what could really happen between the two of them. 5 rounds. Let's get him in a main event somewhere, and let's see how it goes out in a fight night main event. I think that's something that has to happen, and then from there, the winner of that goes and fights whoever, TJ or Cody. The next fight was Paulo Costa versus Uriah Hall. That was also a great fight. Paulo Costa knocked out Uriah Hall with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in the second round. Costa is now 12-0, all finishes. Costa won a performance of the night's bonus with that one. It was great. Uriah Hall looked great too, though. So I can't just say it was just a great performance all by Costa, because Uriah Hall added to that fight, and Uriah Hall battled. Uriah Hall looked like the Uriah Hall of old. And I think that the future is bright if Uriah keeps fighting the way he did. But at the end of the day, the future is even brighter for Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa, I think, should fight Yoel Romero next. There's talks of Yoel Romero moving up to 205, but if he does stay at 185, I think that Paulo Costa and him would be a great matchup. The next fight of the night was Khalil Roundtree, and Khalil Roundtree knocked out Gokhan Saki in 3 minutes and 23 seconds into the first round. In my opinion, that was the biggest upset of the year, especially of the card. I mean, damn. No one expected Khalil Roundtree to take him out like that. Khalil Roundtree won a performance bonus with that one. Great fight. The next fight after that was Anthony Pettis, and he submitted Michael Sieska.